Hey everyone, today we're back on Mike's Silver Bullet EVO tubular front end project. Where we left off, we had just finished making the cut and now we are cleaning up the area around that cut on the chassis and getting ready to build the plates that are going to box them in, which will have some nuts welded on the back of them in order to accept the tubular front end setup. So I've already gone ahead and cleaned up the inside walls where the cut was made, as well as the outside of the perimeter of where the cut was made. You can see on both sides it's nice and clean, and all I need to do is rub this down a little bit with some acetone and it should be ready to go as far as welding on it. I've also made sure that everything is nice and flush. It's important to get measurements perfect on this so that everything fits properly, and I also went ahead and started making the box plates. The driver's side, as you can see, marked in D, nice and flush fit. Fits really nicely on there and is also really flush. So the next thing to do would be to drill the holes for us to weld the nuts on the back side of this, and then likewise do the same thing on the passenger side. So for now I got to make the passenger side plate, and so that's what we'll move forward with, because that's where I'm at this point with you guys. All right. These are used on each of the sides like I discussed before. They're gonna go right here and get welded on to help box in that frame that we've cut off now on both sides. But in order to do the tubular front end that's removable, we have to mark where the tube is gonna be, because there's gonna be some plates that we make after this that are actually the removable part that'll attach to this. And we have to take into consideration where that tube's going to be, and then therefore what space we have for the bolt holes that we're going to make. So I'm going to bring these two over here, and we're going to come over to my everything area that I like to call it. Basically a 60 by 60 stainless table that I do a lot of my work on, and the 1.5 inch chromoly tubing that we use, I use as a reference right here for knowing what kind of space I have and trying to get it really centered. So at this point I have made up the plates and drilled the holes that are needed for the nuts that are going to get welded onto it. And now we're finally at the point where we're going to do some welding. So these are the front of the plates, and what we want to do is weld the nuts on the back side so that when we weld these on the face, we'll have something to actually thread into for the tubular front end. So that's what we're getting ready to do now, is finally weld. welding table. I've just got this driver's side plate cooling down a little bit. And it looks like it's cool enough now where I can actually hold it. These will weld right here on this, which will look real nice and clean. So this is the next step of the process, is to weld those on. So we'll get that cleaned up nicely. Good morning, it's a new day, to me at least. Not sure where I edited this video, but anyway, I've got Mike's car's receiving plates already welded up now, and I'll give you a quick peek of that. So you can see now we've got our plates welded on and they are in place. They look real nice and clean. I'm happy with that. Got this side over here. So now I am just in the middle of cutting out the chromoly plates that are going to be used for the removable part on the tube front end. So I am currently working with the driver and the passenger side for those, and then after that is the fun part that everybody loves, which is tube bending. So now I'm going to go ahead and get working on shaping these out real quick, and then we're working on bending that tube. Cool. All right. Okay, got my plates made now. These are the chromoly plates that are going to be used with the tubular front. So now I gotta use the tube bender and bend some tube. So now I've got a hot date with this pretty girl. Hydraulic tube bender. Pro Tools. Shout out to those guys for making a great product. And I've got some dies. I've got 1 5/8 inch die along with 1 1/2 inch die, so that I can do both tubular front work as well as cage work. So now we've got to use that in order to make this shaped more like this, which will be a fun project. Better look at the shape of this thing. So that's what we're up to now. We got to set up this tube bender. Haven't used it in a little while, but I'm excited to use it because I have not had a hydraulic tube bender yet. This is the first time I'll be using it as a hydraulic setup. I just have to hook it up to an air compressor and pull this trigger, and it will start to basically move this ram outward and push that bar around the die in order to create the shape that we're looking for. And that's basically how it works. It's pretty straightforward, and definitely a machine that is built for the task. So, yep, move forward. Okay, so At this point, we've made all of our bends in the tube bender. We've mimicked the new design that we wanted. It's slightly, I would say, more ergonomic, a little shorter than the factory path that they take, which is more boxy and has more 90 degrees in it as opposed to a 45 here along the bottom section. And we've made our chromoly plates, which are going to be used on the ends of each side here, and then it'll bolt on. So that's kind of where we're at this point, and keeping you in the loop as we go.